Welcome into the 2026 Week 29 devlog for Slammer, a multiplayer FPS Battle Royale game that I'm making solo in Unreal Engine 5. This week was all about making subtle improvements to the way that the bots work when we have gunfights with them. So although you're not going to see any dramatic new features added like you do in past devlogs, the bots are a lot different today than they were last week. I'll try not to make my explanations too technical and boring, but here we go. All of these things were about making the bots feel like you're going against an actual human player, and the first step to doing that was to fix the aim point for the bots. So right at the start of this week, the bots were just kind of aiming to the center of mass of the player, no matter what was going on in the game, and that obviously is not what a real player does. So the first thing I did to fix this was I set up a system where if you're moving, the bot's aim will lag behind you a little bit. So if you're strafing, they might miss a few shots, or if you're just running in the other direction, they'll have trouble tracking you like a real player would. The next feature was also adjusting the bot's aim point, but this time based on the line of sight it has to the player. What I noticed in the playtesting before this feature is that when me, the player, was behind cover, the bot would still try to shoot their gun for my center of mass, which was behind cover. So it would just shoot the cover in front of me instead of doing what a real player would do and aiming up towards the head and neck area so they can actually hit their shots. So I made a system where the bot's line of sight actually impacts the point where it is aiming. So if you're behind cover, it won't try to shoot for the center of mass, but will instead shoot for the part of you that it can actually see. The next thing I knew I needed for the bots was a system to tweak the difficulty of them in editor as I'm testing, as opposed to going in and changing the behavior tree of the AI or any other C++ code. What I ended up doing was making another data asset based system that has various properties about the bot's difficulty, as you can see here, that we can tweak in game just as a designer. And these designer facing systems are so important for tweaking little gameplay things like this and making it feel right as a player. And the other thing that this system is built to support is multiple different difficulty profiles, which doesn't matter now because we're just in a firing range. But when we get to making the first version of the BR, where it's pretty much just the players who are joining peer-to-peer and the bots running around, you'll be able to have different difficulty profiles set to each bot, so every interaction won't feel exactly the same. The next enhancement to the bot AI that I made was I made a system where the bots now shoot in controlled bursts, as opposed to previously where they were just kind of spraying and praying. This is just yet another thing I implemented to make the bots feel a little bit more like you're fighting an actual human player. I then actually fixed a real bug that I found in the codebase having to do with the tracers. Originally, when I made the tracer system, I made the mistake of making the tracers start from the barrel of the weapon, as opposed to where the bullet is actually coming from, which is the center of the camera for the players, and the aim socket, which is about the neck area for the bots. Before this fix, I wasn't even seeing any tracers come near me as the player because the bot's weapon was below cover visually. So that straight line tracer to the aim point was just hitting against the cover right in front of them, and it was really screwing up the cosmetics of the shooting process and just did not feel good as the player. So now that this is fixed, it's definitely much improved, and you can actually see the bullets flying towards you, as you see here. And the last feature I implemented was giving the bots a flinch property when they're firing. So what this means is when I, as the player, shoot a bot, their accuracy is very largely affected for a short amount of time after they took the bullet. So for the player, eventually we'll implement a flinch effect where this does the same thing. So this just sort of levels the playing field, so bots will also have flinch. That was all I managed to close out this week, but next week we'll add even more features to the bot AI and the bot combat in general to make them even more human-like. And that gets us towards our goal of finally releasing Test Drive 2. Speaking of Test Drive 2, definitely subscribe to the channel to keep up with this devlog series and my journey in making this massively scoped game solo in Unreal Engine 5. Any support you're willing to give, whether it be from a subscription, a like, a comment, really is what's keeping me going here, so it is all very much appreciated, so thank you for that. Also, as always, the current Test Drive build, which is Test Drive 1 in the gameplay you're seeing on the screen now, is available for free on Steam. So definitely go check that out at the link in the description and hop in with up to 3 friends, shoot some bots, try out the loadout system, and let me know what you think. And with all that being said, I've been Steve. Thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll see you next week.